Hi guys, welcome to Lighthouse Intuitive Tarot. My name is Julie, and this is a collective energetic reading for April the 17th for all signs. If you find this reading later than April the 17th, then chances are that there's just something in the message that might still serve you. Something in the message might be relevant to your particular energy on the day that you find it, okay? Anyway, thank you for being here. And the more that people tune into the channel, the more that people engage and listen to the readings, the more I'm able to tap into a greater collective energy. I have premeditated upon and pre-shuffled these decks. And we'll begin with this oracle. All right, so energy for today. Energies for today. Collective energies, messages from Spirit. Oh, all right. We have the No card. It says wait, postpone, pause, or say no. So you'll notice right away, and I'm drawn to it immediately, the color on the card is various shades of blues predominantly. And blue is the color associated with our throat chakra, which is, you know, where we have the power of our voice originate from. So saying no is, you know, sometimes it's something that, particularly in North American culture, which is part of the culture that I'm from, and I know in many, many other cultures as well, sometimes that the idea of saying no is considered selfish. It's not really a popular answer. But this card and the message behind this card is recognizing that when no is employed with honesty, when it truly is your authentic answer to something, then just own that, you know, it's okay. It is absolutely okay to protect your energy. It's absolutely okay to be incapable of stepping up to a certain request at times from even people that you love the very most, you know. Sometimes the answer is just truly and authentically no. And this, so further to this message, and before I leave that thought, actually, you know, we all know the difference, don't we? Like, we know inside of ourselves when our no is either an exasperated or spiteful or, you know, just a disengaged, you know, those sort of lower place, lower energy no's. And we also know when our no is coming from an extremely authentic place of self-actualization, where in fact we must say no to something because it is just not being, it doesn't support our health. It doesn't support our well-being, you know? And if it's not supporting your health or your well-being, then really no is the only answer. And we must stand in it, you know, with a grounded sense of security and being able to say it. Not in an unkind way, you know, not in a battling sort of way, but in an authentic and calm, poised sort of way, you know, ready to embrace sometimes this energy. So the energy of lightning is, well, it's magical, really, if we think of it, of what lightning is in our 3D, you know, reality and experience of life. It's a catalyst for massive change, and it's a purifier, and it is a symbol in nature and in weather of neutralizing chaos in our environment. So it's sort of the culmination of that chaos event, but it's also charging the atmosphere and the surfaces of the earth with more negative ions at the end of it. You know, at the end of a thunder and lightning storm, the earth is, our Mother Earth, our surface of our planet is actually, its negative charge has been bolstered, after the event is over. But certainly the amount of charge and electricity contained in these flashes is enough to create, massive disruption, and it can absolutely create devastation as well. It can catch things on fire. It has a lethal amount of power in it. So that's kind of also the caution, is that no is one of those triggering words, isn't it? Where it can definitely provoke in others a sense of chaos, and it can provoke in oneself a sense of chaos to know that you must employ it in a situation where maybe you feel unsupported to do so. So this is actually just spirit acknowledging that these energies can be very attached to this sentiment, but that these energies are not, nevertheless, they are not the reason to just be the peacekeeper, and say yes, and then have your precious energy expended in a way that really doesn't serve the greater whole, and particularly doesn't serve you. So yeah, I felt that we should touch on that. This can definitely trigger these explosive and chaotic energies, both in ourselves and in others. So it's an important part of what we need to acknowledge with this card, but it's also nevertheless come up for us here today collectively. So what is it that you might need to wait on? Maybe you're working against even the universe's no, because maybe this is a universe no as well. If it isn't your own authentic voice needing to say no to something, then perhaps it's the universe saying, this just isn't the time. So, wait and postpone rushing through it or forcing it, because what we also see lightning in is the Tower card. And the Tower is when the universe takes things back because they're fated, they're destined. And so, they've got to destroy something, basically, in order to have other events transpire, because perhaps, we pushed something that wasn't really meant for us, so it will be lost again if it was gainfully, if it was achieved in a way that was, fighting versus just flowing with universal timing, because divine universal timing, it ultimately is everything, and our acceptance of it plays a very big role in whether or not we're having a harmonious existence or whether we're feeling at odds in our existence. So, all right, moving on from there, we'll work with the Tarot of the Divine. Give us more, please, Spirit, on this no card. What is this no card in relation to for the collective? What are we waiting on? What are we postponing? What do we need to pause with or say no to? What is this no message from Spirit? I'm also hearing to check the bottom of the deck on the oracle, so I'm going to do that as well. But in the meanwhile, the Five of Wands. Okay, so Five of Wands is a card of, there is combative energy. There is the resistance energy. This is an energy of not necessarily, change is imminent and the change isn't necessarily being accepted. There's training for battle. There's lots of action being taken, and this does speak to the energy of potentially forcing something that the universe isn't quite ready to agree that the divine timing is in fact now. So everything in our lives is such a balance, right? It's a mix of our will and making our desires come about, and it's also a balance of respecting the timelines that the divine has in store for us as well, or has in as part of the greater plan of energy unfolding. So Six of Swords is actually moving away from something that was tumultuous, something that may have been more the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands isn't the Five of Swords. It's really just sort of like a preparing for it. But if some of the strenuous energy of saying no, if it's felt tumultuous, then what Spirit's saying is, in fact, saying no will then bring you to the calmer waters beyond these choppy waters in the Six of Swords energy. And then the Hanged Man is the decision that needs to be made, trust yourself to say no, trust yourself that you have considered all of the sides that are relevant to whichever way this applies to your story, be it in a relationship or towards a job or towards a decision to move towards something or away from something. Please fill it in as it makes sense. But the Hanged Man says, all of the thinking time that you've just been in inaction and sort of, contemplating the back and the forth of it, you have the answer now, this was the sort of take the time to sort through it, and no, it would seem is the overall response that in your heart of hearts, again, this is back to the authenticity of self. You've come to that enlightened place of, this is what I need to do. I need to say no from this. I need to move away from it. Anything else here, Spirit? Message towards the no for today's collective. Oh, they're reminding me again to look at the bottom of the, whoops, that's too many. Okay. They're saying they kind of want it all. Okay, so I'm going to move through this stuff quickly then, because we've got a lot of cards here. 6 fell out. Okay, so the first 3 in this pile, it is the Tower. Look at that. We were just speaking about the Tower. So there's what I was telling you about, the lightning. The universe will intervene, and this is universe intervention, universal divine intervention. And what's important to remember with the Tower is that if the universe does intervene with something, it's in fact for your greatest good, even though that may not be, what it feels like in the moment. It can feel very much like a very disruptive, rather sometimes terrifying change that just kind of moves in quickly and disrupts your entire world. These figures are falling from this burning building that has caught fire from the lightning. And the King of Wands is a decisive, mastered energy, and the 10 of Wands. So the King of Wands is someone who has gone through all of the sort of wands, the action-taking energy. This is a very attractive, self-confident, accomplished figure. So this is the energy that you're in. And this is what energy may, in fact, unfortunately, bring about more of a Tower moment. So if, again, what goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the no card, if the universe is giving you the no, which is really what I'm feeling in this storyline, this 3-card storyline that fell together, then this Tower coming in is going to be because you were potentially behaving in a forward-moving way that the universe is not ready to support in this moment. And it will actually just create a 10 of Wands scenario where now you're going to be overburdened and exhausted in your efforts because the universe isn't ready to support this desire, this will that the King of Wands has. So it's like the universe is acknowledging that you are in this energy, this position. And King energy, it's gender neutral. It is, even though King denotes male, what it's saying is that the divine masculine energy of inspired forward action is present in you. You're a beautiful phoenix risen in this image, and you're on fire, ready to go with this. So you want the universal yes, but the universe is saying, please wait, postpone and pause, or it will be a tower, an unanticipated change or change of events or way of things transpiring that will ultimately just result in 10 of Wands, which is not, I mean, it's the end of a story, but it is an overburdened energy. It is an energy of you're just carrying way too much. And the universe doesn't want that for any of us. None of us are meant to carry too much. Certainly not for long, you know. When we carry too much, sometimes by divine orchestration, it's a test, and then we move through it, end of the cycle, and it's over. But the universe is currently saying, we don't want you to sit in that energy. So this is like, please heed this warning. And then this pile here, what have we got? We've got the 4 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, and the 10 of Swords. So we've got another 10 energy. So this is for the group who is having a personal crisis with the ability to say no. This likely has a lot to do with an attachment to 4 of Cups and 6 of Cups energy. Cups energies are emotions, and 4 of Cups is feeling like, you know, there's conditions around my foundations and my stability within my grounded sort of foundational unit, my family unit, or in the relationships in my life. If I'm not the yes person that I'm expected to be, then I may not be loved properly. I might feel that I'm lacking in support and, you know, community. And this often, again, 6 of Cups is that supporting community. That's family ties. This is history. This is having emotional ties that keep you sometimes bound. So this is really a happy card. I'm not in any way, you know, taking away from the beautiful love of family and these relationships that are our foundations in our lives. But sometimes these relationships, when we're not in our most authentic self, these relationships can influence us to behave in ways that appeal more to the entire group, the collective, than who we truly are. Does that make sense? So what the universe is saying is like, yeah, you're unfortunately in a place right now where a no is required, you know, authentic voice, you know, as yourself in the dynamics, the closest dynamics of those you love. Your voice is needed. And it might not be a popular answer towards something pretty major, but this has caused you a lot of stress. This has caused you a lot of burden. This is another 10, and this is the 10 of Swords. So this has been, you know, a very depleting, long drawn out, likely situation that you have basically probably long endured. And the thing that keeps you in long endurance, again, it's family, and it's having the unfounded fear, but the very understandable fear that, you know, you're on shaky ground if you know, give an unpopular answer like no, or if you know, speak out and say, this isn't me. This isn't who I am authentically. I need to be able to tell you something different, you know, and having the fear that it's not going to be accepted, that there'll be lack around that because of family ties and how important these connections are for all of us. But this energy is not where you should live, not where any of us should live. But this is the energy that you've been in, and Spirit is saying we don't want that for you any longer. So let me find out what it is. Share your voice. They wanted you to see this. Share your voice. Come out of the cave, persecution and expression. And once again, this card is asking you, all of us, to tap into that beautiful well within ourselves and to find our real true voices and share the authenticity of who you are with, it involves being vulnerable, because both of these 3-pack scenarios that fell for us from the cards, they're both very real human experiences, aren't they? The experience of sometimes not liking the universe's timing, and conversely, the experience of being afraid sometimes, just having the fear of not belonging the way that you want to belong because of what sharing your authentic voice might, say, trigger in others, or the way that the voice might be heard, even though that isn't the way that it was intended to be heard. With intention, though, I'm being told right now, it's always so crucial to understand that the truth of what is in your heart, if you're clear on the truth of what is in your heart when you use your beautiful voice, it will resonate for the people that need to receive that message. So having faith in that and trusting in that is a huge part of finding the courage to share your voice, and letting go of the fear that somehow you may be rejected for, maybe sometimes sharing your voice in a way that you worry is not going to be received in the loving way that you want to always sort of be held in people's esteem. But we all do, right? We all wish to be really in that place if we're bare bones honest, particularly with the people that matter to us most in our lives, So in any case, universe is asking you to use your authentic no, be empowered, know that you are this force of beautiful light. You are not separate from that, and using your authentic no is real and it's sacred. It is a sacred word used correctly. And sharing your voice, well, we're verbal beings. 2222 on the clock. We're verbal beings, and not sharing our voices is, it removes us from our connections. We are verbal beings for a reason. We're meant to share our stories. We're meant to share our wisdoms, truth that's imparted to us. We're meant to share these things, right? And we're meant to share the truth of who we are. Even if it ruffles feathers, those that really truly love you and those that really truly respect you will still be there, even if it takes a little bit of time, so trust. Okay, beautiful messages here today. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the message, and I hope that something was able to reach for you here within the message. Thank you again for sharing your energy, and we will talk again soon. Take care. Namaste.